Welcome back to Action 2 News at 6. It was a big day for colleges handing out diplomas across our area.
This afternoon's commencement ceremony, UW Green Bay will surpass 50,000 graduates.
The live stream of the commencement ceremony held this morning at the University of Wisconsin Green Bay. They actually held two events with another in the afternoon. The graduation includes students from all four of UW Green Bay's campuses, which are located in Marinette, Manitowoc, Sheboygan, and of course Green Bay. Half of those graduating in this year's spring class are first generation students. More than 1,100 students and their families took part in today's ceremony. Also in the Fox Valley, the University of Oshkosh held their commencement ceremony today. Many of the speakers took time during the event to wish each graduate luck in their future as they pursue their dream job. One student speaker also had some inspiring words.
Let us dream the seemingly impossible dreams and make them real. Let us dream with our eyes wide open.
The Chancellor of the University said he is proud of the accomplishments celebrated in today's commencement ceremony and recognizes and applauds the determination of the graduates that they have put into completing their studies. And at the Howard University in Washington, D.C. today, President Joe Biden gave a commencement address. At the event, Biden received the Honorary Doctor of Letters. Vice President Kamala Harris is a Howard graduate and has a degree from the school. Howard is one of the largest historically black universities in the U.S.
Today I come here to Howard to continue the work to redeem the soul of this nation, because it's here where I see the future, and that's not hyperbole. We can finally resolve those ongoing questions about who we are as a nation. That puts strength of our diversity at the center of American life. The future that celebrates and learns from history. A future for all Americans. A future I see you leading.
The last time a sitting president spoke at Howard's graduation was back in 2016 when then President Barack Obama gave the address. The